I'm your host, Janice Matui, and this is A Sit at the Table. A Sit at the Table delves into the intricacies of professional skills and emotional intelligence, offering insights on how you can thrive in the present and ensure long-term relevance. Serving as a gateway to mastering today's evolving professional and business landscape, our focus is to equip audiences with the necessary tools that ensure they thrive in the present, but also secure enduring relevance in the future. So join us, like and subscribe, A Sit at the Table, only on YouTube.
I'm Mutinta Lina Muyuni. I'm a reproductive health specialist, obstetrician gynecologist. In a nutshell, I'm a women's health specialist, and my work involves basically all things women, birth control, pregnancies, advocacy for women's rights, and other things relating uniquely to us as women, about our bodies, our image, and so on and so forth. I'm a consultant obstetrician gynecologist at a private hospital here in Lusaka, Care for Business Hospital, which is a non-profit organization that is pushing itself to be one of the leading healthcare providers in Lusaka. So that's where I'm hiding currently, but I'm always available really to push the women's agenda in Lusaka, Zambia, and beyond if I have to, because someone has to do it. My journey in medicine is a very interesting one. I think I've always thought to myself I could write a book and it would be very thick. And I think as a child, I was always a bookworm. I'd always hide from the ordinary standard things that everybody expected us girls to do. I was always, you find me under the dining table, in the living room under a chair with a novel, wanting to know more, read more, do more. As a result, I tended to excel compared to my other, female counterparts. And becoming a doctor, that was it. I mean, that's all we knew. There was barely any career guidance, barely any mentorship. We literally chose these things based on what we were guided. Okay, I went to boarding school at Fatima Girls Secondary School, and I consider this as, really part of what built me to be me. I formed sister bonds there, and at the end they gave us forms to fill in: education, natural sciences, which eventually you become a doctor, business studies. And so what does it involve? No clear answer. Fill the form, hand it in, and we apply for our university. So being a doctor, okay, sounds good, let's do it. And I was also someone who used to like watching sci-fi stuff. So Star Trekky, that's me. Medical dramas, that was totally me. But of course, we used to watch, in our generation, it's not like TV, the way you wake up in the morning, as soon as you open your eyes. We used to watch from 17 hours. And there was a medical drama called K. O'Brien. Some people may know, but most may not. But this medical drama saw me looking at people rushing to save lives, doing operations or surgeries, blood everywhere, people recovering. Rarely did they die, and it got me thinking, I have to do this. As a result, I was always keen to touch up people's conditions. If there's someone in the house with a scratch, I'd patch it up. If there's someone with a boil, I'd wait until they're asleep and squeeze it. And that was my journey, slowly edging towards medicine. So by society, I filled some forms, but I also had that interest from my pastimes and my reading, that one day I could become a medical doctor. Few hiccups here and there, maybe major speed bumps, but you know, I made it against the odds. I made it, and yeah, this is my journey in the School of Medicine, and eventually practicing or specializing in the Department of Obs and Gyn. Perhaps I focused a little more also on obstetrics, because at my secondary school there was a piggery, and in that piggery I did not take agriculture science, but the process of life and procreation. I'd always sit there for hours in the afternoon, and the agric teacher was really kind to me, and he said, this girl's got interest. You know, I'd help deliver the pigs. So everybody who's been my patient, I started from there. Help deliver the pigs, and my friends were kind enough. After hours in the piggery, I'd go and have my dinner in the dining area. Wasn't too good to sit next to after hours in the piggery, but in time they let me even learn castrating the little piglets and so on. I'd be there almost for every delivery apart from the ones at night. But looking back, those were some of the things that were formative. But some personal events in my life led me right down the corridor of obstetrics and gynecology. So reproductive health is everything. I kid you not, it's everything. Wherever there are men and women, reproductive health is there. That is with regards to procreation. Why do I say it affects everything? Our population numbers affect our economic performance. Not only economic performance as a country, but as a province, as families, as individuals. So it's something that is really critical. What about our health care services, for example? The doctor to patient ratios that are there, they all hinge on reproductive health and population explosions, baby booms, and things like that. What about the strain on medical care that reproductive health causes? Things like the HIV/AIDS pandemic, things like the cancer, cervical cancer, of which Zambia is one of the leading countries in the world actually with regards to the prevalence of cervical cancer. So reproductive health is cornerstone in everything. You can say what you want, your specialty might sound better than mine, but it all boils down to reproductive health. Women's health as well, day-to-day basis, whether you have children or you don't. Women have somewhat, because of their nature, we are slightly more vulnerable than our counterparts, and we always have to work twice as hard because we deal with our biology, our menstrual cycle, our moods, weakness from anemia, other things like that that may affect our performance in the work setting, but we have to keep up nonetheless. And so day to day, we are there in almost all the things that you can think of. Women drive society. Just starting from the family level, building on to how women, will keep things going, not only in businesses, in farms, and so on. A woman won't give up until something is done. A woman doesn't need to have much, to do something for her family. You look at people on the streets today who are trying to put something on their table. They won't stop. Those are women. And my bread and butter is helping these women. But the challenge also is them deciding, or them having the capacity to achieve their full health potential wherever they are found. Fortunately, things are getting better in terms of availability of services, in terms of putting women's health on the agenda. Things are getting better. I think services are getting better day to day. But it all comes down to, have you heard? Do you have access? Do you know someone? Hopefully we will move away from having to know someone from, for you to have the best health care. I think things are getting better, but it all starts with what I've heard and what I can access. If I don't know things can be better with regards to my reproductive health, then I won't really seek to be the best I can be as a woman. My career-defining moment is really something deep and personal, but something rooted in obs and gyn nonetheless. So when I was in medical school, and there was always closures, somehow the closures delayed us, but somehow also gave us, who were a little bit behind, a bit of time to catch up with the others who are ahead. But I found myself with an unplanned pregnancy when I was in 3rd year. So I was pregnant, happened to be a closure for the entire 9 months, by God's grace. And I went back to school. Why? My mother took my baby literally as hers. And it struck me that this is a woman, almost 60 at the time, with a newborn, doing the nights, doing the diapers, and she says, "I'll take your baby, go back to school." And suddenly, it wasn't about me anymore. Someone else was depending on me. There's this new baby and these parents who are depending on me to finish my medical school. Had I not had a woman step up to protect my education, I'd be no different from the women whose career stories had ended along the way. We see people, on the street trying to sell their wares, their goods, trying to sell some fruit, some nuts, but we don't know at which point their career, their dream ended. And if it had not been for this mother, God rest her, I would not be where I am today. And because I had been pregnant during the course of my medical education, I found it a piece of cake, therefore, to excel in obstetrics and gynecology, because it was to do with pregnancy and delivery, and I'd been there, done that. And I was, I was good. I could understand what these people were going through. And it then curved me in the direction of obstetrics and gyn, because I was good at that. I knew that, and I had experienced that. And so as a female gynecologist, we have special insights about, each other's reproductive health. That adds more value, I think, to us as professionals. And this was the mic drop moment for me, is that another woman had literally laid down. Now, I value my sleep very much. And even now when I look after babies, and I'm not even, 50 or anything, but I just imagine what a strain it was. But because she sacrificed for me, I am what I am today. And I always try, therefore, in everything I do, to try and lift women up, to try and give the underdog a chance, to try and reach your goal or reach your target. If you can do that for someone else, I hear these days they say, adjust another queen or princess's crown. Don't pull it down. Don't pull them down in their low moment. Don't kick them, where it hurts. sometimes life's paths lead you down, ways and corridors that may be dark, but there's a light. There are women out there who will, adjust each other's crowns and, lead you to your success. But just think for a moment for these other people whose careers died because no one was there to be, the walking stick or to help you through your dark tunnel until you reach the light. So for me, this was my career defining moment. And I just thank my mother and God every day for this sacrifice that she did. Life and work balance in medical career, very challenging, very challenging. Medical work, depending on your specialty. Now mine literally has very limited time restriction. But I do have a family. I'm a mother of 5. And those family members also require my time. They require my mentorship. They require my support. And yet my patients also need me. But I cannot save the world in one sitting. I'm not Superwoman. I wish I was. I wish I could fly. I wish I could do so many things, but I'm not. When I was an intern, just starting out my medical journey, I thought I could save the world. I would work long hours. I'd make sure I do all the work and come back. Next day I would be at it again. But soon what happens is burnout. And it's only life's experiences and day to day that you realize that, one, you are a human being. You need to eat, drink, be merry on occasion. And that makes you a better doctor. You cannot work all the time. And so you have to have a balance. But that said, your family must also understand what your restrictions, or what it means to have a medical doctor as a mother or a medical doctor as a wife. What does it mean to your family? And so we continue to talk. We continue to give and take with the understanding that I am not Superwoman, I'm only human. And I can only do the best I can do or be the best I can be in that moment, because that's all I can give, the best of me. So if you understand that and decide that from 8 to 5, I'm going to be the best doctor I can be. I'm going to give it my all. I'm not going to goof off. I'm not going to be surfing on the net and wasting time. I'm going to be 100%, Superwoman gynecologist at this point. After 5, it's family time. Take time, people always have time to reach out, to text you, let you know about their emergencies in the middle of the night. And, some of the emergencies indeed, require urgent attention. But when it's time to rest, you rest. When it's time for family, it's time for family. You have to create boundaries. Otherwise, essentially, you crash. Essentially, you burn out. So this is what we have to realize is we are only human beings, but we do the best we can do. I always say, in a joking way with my family, I say, when I die on my tombstone, just write this: here lies a woman who worked hard for her money. You work hard. And I say, we sleep when we die. There's a time for everything in this life, and we have to recognize it. You shouldn't work too hard that you can't have a bit of time out. You need that time out. What kind of medicine will you offer if you are burnt out and exhausted? So when it's time to rest, rest. When it's time to play, play. When it's time to sleep, sleep. But allocate appropriate time so that you can balance. It's very difficult, but it's possible. Communicate with the people around you, your patients. Communicate with them your limitations. Be honest. Communicate with your family your limitations. Be honest. Everybody needs to manage their expectations, but most of all, as an individual, young doctor, young woman, you need to manage your expectations of yourself. Because if you are disappointed in yourself because you've exceeded your human capacity, you are setting yourself up to fail. I think that philosophies that are the cornerstone of medicine, basically the ethics of medicine is beneficence, which is basically do good, help others. You'll find even in medicine, someone may have a condition that is not a gynecologic condition, but because it's in my ability to help that individual, I will help and do good. And non-maleficence means do no harm. In some instances, in medical care, sadly, you cannot always have a solution. Sometimes you may not know the answers. Sometimes your surgery may not be the solution. In some cases, the answer is to do nothing. So in all practices, do no harm. Also, autonomy or independence in line of thought. Think outside the box in everything you do. Don't always be limited with the can't word. If there are certain things I can't do, how else can I figure out this plan to save a life, to help this individual? How else can I look at this? Think outside the box. It could save you, it could save someone else. So that is the principle, how I interpret it, of autonomy. My fourth guiding principle, I guess, is integrity. Who am I when no one is watching? What kind of doctor am I when I'm not under supervision? Am I honest with my patients? Am I, forthright in my care for them? Who am I when no one is looking? So integrity basically is the cornerstone of any medical practice. For me, I think, even though I've said it fourth, it's actually number one.